Broadcasting from the Cass Corridor in Detroit, this is the Metro. I'm Tia Graham.
And I'm Robin Vincent. Today on the program, DEI is under attack. The Trump administration is pressuring many schools to end their programs. But is the answer to eliminate them or improve them?
And Governor Gretchen Whitmer is taking some heat for cozying up to President Donald Trump at the White House last week. We'll learn what she had to say about that visit and more.
Plus, children who've been severely injured from Israeli bombardments in Gaza just arrived in Detroit for treatment. What goes into their evacuation and rehabilitation?
But first, we talk a lot about housing and the increasing costs to rent, buy, and own a place. Yet, partly because of Detroit's poverty, there's still not enough rehabilitated, affordable housing units to go around. But the city and community members are working to change that. The Campbell Street Apartments is a new $18 million affordable housing development in southwest Detroit, and it's in that East Chadsey-Condon neighborhood. Leading the charge of the project is MiSide Community Impact Network. The local nonprofit works to provide resources for entire communities to create stability for people. MiSide and Detroit officials broke ground late 2023 to bring the housing complex to the community. And this Thursday, a ribbon-cutting ceremony is taking place with Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan and community partners. To talk a little bit more about the new apartments, we have the president and CEO of MiSide Community Impact Network, Sean DeFore here. Sean, welcome to the Metro.
Thanks so much for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. So explain to folks who aren't aware, but who and what is MiSide? Can you talk a little bit about the combination of those two organizations that used to exist that came together to create MiSide?
Absolutely. So MiSide Community Impact Network was formed a year and a half ago through the merger of two historic Detroit nonprofit organizations, Southwest Solutions and Development Centers, Inc. And we came together to bring behavioral health, affordable housing, employment supports, and early childhood supports under one roof, because our organizations found that those were the challenges our families most often faced, and that were most often interconnected. And
just thinking about the problems that you hear from community members, can you talk just a little bit about some of the things that community members talked about wanting coming to their community?
Absolutely. So in the East Chadsey-Condon area, which is where the Campbell Street Apartments were built, right on Michigan Avenue, about a mile and a half from Michigan Central Station, residents wanted the same things you and I want in their neighborhood. They want a coffee shop. They want a gym where they can work out. They want access to a grocery store, which there happens to be a wonderful grocery store right across the street from this new apartment building. They want a place where they can live, work, and play. And we're pretty proud that our new apartment building actually offers that right down the street from Corktown.
And tell us a little bit about the apartments themselves. Who qualifies, and are the apartments already filled? What should people who are interested know about applying know about these apartments?
Yeah, so the apartment building we just finished, Campbell Street Apartments, has 40 units, and they are affordable housing, which means a number of different things, but for these units, it means that anybody who is at 60% of the area median income or below would qualify to live in one of the units in Campbell Street Apartments. And we have units ranging from 1 bedroom to 3 bedroom, and all of the units are actually vouchered. So they have a voucher from the Michigan State Housing Development Authority attached to them, which means if somebody qualifies and is able to live in Campbell Street, they actually never pay more than a third of their income toward rent, which is a challenge that so many Detroiters face right now. Their housing burden's paying 50% or more of their income just toward housing. And in this case, we sort of guarantee that anybody who qualifies to live there won't be housing burdened. They'll only have to pay 30%, which is pretty exciting.
It's really, really exciting. Actually, I know so many of us, including myself, who pay a lot more of their personal income in rent every month. So this project does seem like a big undertaking, a big project. How did you make it happen and make it happen so quickly? Because usually you don't hear about projects of this capacity coming up so quickly.
Yeah, not often enough. And, thankfully, MiSide and previously Southwest Solutions have been in the affordable housing development business since the late 90s, so almost 25 years. And in that time, we've brought to life somewhere around 1,500 units of affordable housing, all in the city of Detroit. So this is core. This is a core part of what we do. But a project like this takes so much support. We had support from Eagle that allowed us to do the soil remediation and cleanup to make this site ready for affordable housing. We had low-income housing tax credits from MISTA and from the state of Michigan that helped with the financing of the development. We had matching funds from the city, from Mayor Duggan's administration that helped support bringing this together. And then PNC actually provided a loan to help bring the project to life. All in total, it's about $18 million to build this apartment building. And it took about 3.5 years to actually bring it to life. So it takes a village to build affordable housing.
Which is something that we often talk about, is that community aspect. And we're going to talk a little bit more about what you all do at MiSide, especially in terms of the community that you all are serving. But I do want to talk just a little bit more in depth, if you can, about the relationship and partnership that you have with the city of Detroit, as well as state agencies, because oftentimes, once again, we may hear that those things and working with those entities may be a little bit of maybe speed bumps there or roadblocks there. So can you just talk about how you all have been able to foster relationships with the city of Detroit and other state agencies?
Yeah, and as I mentioned, the 25 years that we've been doing this work, part of what allows us to continue to do it and do it as well as we have is because of those relationships that we've developed over the years. The Housing and Revitalization Department that is a part of the city is a really key partner in helping us with land acquisition and gap funding to be able to make affordable housing happen. The support that we get from the city, which helps give us credibility with the state Housing Development Authority, MISTA, which is where a lot of the financing comes from. We couldn't do it without those kinds of relationships. Even our local councilwoman, Gabriela Santiago Romero, was instrumental in getting us funds to actually furnish these units, which is something I forgot to mention, is that every one of these units comes furnished, which is a really helpful start for families who are now moving into a new apartment to be able to save the cost of having to furnish it. But all those relationships are key to making a development like this happen. And what's really exciting is on this same property, hopefully later this year, we'll be breaking ground on an additional 40 units, which will be called Weston Avenue Apartments, which will hopefully be available for rent in 2026.
Which we are definitely going to get more into, because I do want to know more about the community that you all are trying to make right now. We're talking about a new affordable housing development in Southwest Detroit. Our guest is Sean DeFore, President and CEO of MiSide Community Impact Network. Now, let's talk a little bit about the community itself and the overall goal for Michigan Avenue in the area. What are your goals for connecting Southwest Detroit and Corktown?
So you heard me mention that one of the things we love about this neighborhood is we want to build a neighborhood where people who are low to moderate income can live, work, and play right in a key city in Detroit. And with the opening of Michigan Central Station, which we're all just thrilled about, we are starting to see transformation in Corktown with a lot of new development coming in. And affordability, unfortunately, is starting to go down in that neighborhood. East Chadsey-Condon, which is just 1.5 miles away from Michigan Central Station, is a place where you have a community of low and moderate income families who have been living there, in some cases, for generations. They love their neighborhood. And there's a real opportunity here to grow affordable housing to make sure that people who live there now can live there long term, even as this part of the city starts to be redeveloped because of the development that's happening right down the street in Corktown. And so part of our goal is to create these anchors of affordability that'll be there forever for the families and residents that are already there, and then hopefully to start building housing that folks can actually purchase who are low to moderate income in the community, because they live there and they want to own a piece of their neighborhood and they want to stay long term. But this is a vibrant community with lots of families, parks, 3 really excellent schools, Hope of Detroit, New Paradigm, and Cesar Chavez Academy, all in the area. It's just a great neighborhood.
Yeah, we used to play Cesar Chavez Academy when I was in high school and that was one of the, like you said, the really bright, vibrant, beautiful neighborhood and community to drive through and just to be immersed in. So I'm just thinking about the challenges, especially when we talk about that particular community, from preventing affordable housing from being constructed there, and how will the homeowners, the new homeowners and newcomers in that particular area bringing money into Corktown change that dynamic? Does wealthy people moving into the area change all of the challenges to build affordable housing? Is it becoming a little bit less of a burden?
Yeah, it's always a challenge to build affordable housing because you need to have community support, right? The neighbors need to feel good about development that you're bringing into their community and know how it fits in a longer-term overall plan for their neighborhood. And thankfully, because we've been in this community for over 50 years, people know and trust us and understand what we're trying to do at the neighborhood. But it comes with a lot of community engagement, relationship building at the local level, to help people understand the value of what we're trying to create in that long-term vision. And thankfully, we have folks on board with that. Now, as the community starts to change and new people start to move in, sometimes that becomes more and more challenging because you have new voices that are newer to the community, and they also need to be a part of the process, and they need to understand what the long-term vision is. So that's just work that we're continually doing before we commit to any affordable housing development. But sometimes it does become more challenging as neighborhoods start to change.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I've been interested in is seeing so many changes within our neighborhoods and how some of our neighborhoods are, bridge and connect with one another. And just thinking about the dynamics there of wealthy as well, middle class and so on and so forth. So how have you experienced any wealthy people in the area trying to block any of these new developments, especially when we talk about affordable housing?
Yeah, and so we haven't experienced that yet, thankfully. But I think we're trying to learn from what we've observed in Corktown. And Corktown is an amazing neighborhood. It is probably one of the hottest areas in the city of Detroit right now. And it's really exciting to see the additional investment that has come into Corktown, especially with the opening of Michigan Central Station. And we're excited to see that kind of investment continue to move west down Michigan Avenue. Yeah. What we want to make sure of, however, is that the residents that have been there, the legacy Detroiters that have been a part of the East Chadsey-Condon neighborhood for all these decades, benefit from that new investment and have an opportunity to be owners and beneficiaries in it as it comes to their neighborhood, and that they have an opportunity to have a voice in what that transformation in their community looks like. So, longer term, we, like I mentioned, are doing community engagement with residents. We're talking about bringing together neighbors to actually think about some branding of the neighborhood. We would like to engage the community in a planning process for the neighborhood to think about what do we want this neighborhood to look like 15, 20 years from now as new investment comes in and as it starts to transform. For us, the key is just making sure that the neighbors that are there now actually have a voice in what their future looks like.
And Sean, just as a little random of a question, I guess, but we see that there are going to be development from Detroit FC as well coming into that area. Are you all in conversation at all about that move?
We are. We're strong supporters of that move. We're excited, again, about the kind of investment development that it's going to bring in this neighborhood. And again, we want to make sure that the neighbors have a voice. The legacy residents that are there in East Chadsey-Condon now have a voice and input and opportunity to benefit from that investment that's coming in. So that's really our focus now. But yes, the football club building their new stadium and coming into the neighborhood, everybody is just thrilled about that and excited about the transformation investment it's going to bring.
Yes. So just speaking briefly about some of the work that's being done, once again, bringing it back to MiSide Community Impact Network and being in that Southwest Detroit and Corktown, that bridge there. Can you just talk about the support that you all are giving to that unique community, the largest Latino community in Detroit, and how MiSide aids with that support? Because once again, these are folks who often aren't seen and don't see themselves within the greater conversation in the city of Detroit as Detroiters.
Absolutely. And MiSide actually serves residents throughout the city of Detroit and even some in South Oakland County, but we consider Southwest Detroit and Northwest Detroit, the Brightmoor and Cody Rouge neighborhoods, as our heart and home, because that's where our two legacy organizations, Development Centers and Southwest Solutions, really focused a lot of their work. And the supports that we provide in those neighborhoods fall into four lines. And as I mentioned, these are the ones that we find our families who are sort of living at the margins or are struggling with most commonly. Behavioral health and integrated health is one of the areas of supports that we provide. Building, developing, and managing affordable housing, which we talked about with Campbell Street Apartments. Early childhood development and education is one of our key areas. Head Start, early Head Start, early on developmental supports for little ones, support for pregnant moms, all fall under that early childhood development and education. And then the last is economic empowerment. So workforce development and opportunities for adult education to gain new skills, financial literacy training, anything that we can do to help families improve their opportunities to earn income. Those are the four areas together that we offer in Southwest Detroit, Northwest Detroit, and to anybody in the city who comes to us for support.
And Sean, just before we let you go briefly, you talked a little bit about that second project that's called the Wesson Apartments that will complement the redevelopment, and it will kind of help expand that Michigan Avenue block and help bring your ideas and the community's ideas to fruition. So talk a little bit about that and how this will once again aid in you guys' goal of making sure that the community is seen and heard.
Yeah, absolutely. So Wesson Avenue Apartments, which will be built really on the same large lot right next to Campbell Street Apartments. Will be another 40 units of affordable housing available for families. It'll have a similar range of 1 to 3 bedroom apartments and will be available for folks who are at 60% of area median income and below. And what's really exciting about these two buildings is they're right next to our headquarters. They have health supports, a federally qualified clinic that is in the building right next door buildings.
Hey, Sean, I'm so sorry. You're breaking up just a little bit.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was just saying, can you hear me now?
Yes, gotcha.
Okay. So what's really exciting about where this development is it's right next door to one of our major service centers, where in that center we have a free health clinic through Covenant Community Care. We have behavioral health for children and families that MiSide runs. We have a WIC office to support moms and babies right across the street. As well, right across the street is Prince Valley Market, which is a fantastic grocery store in the community. There's a 1-acre park that MiSide redeveloped. That's about a block and a half from this building. This is a place where families can really live and thrive and get all the support that they need. So Wesson, Campbell are really going to be transformative for the neighborhood.
Sean DeFore is the president and CEO of MiSide Community Impact Network. This Thursday, actually, is the ribbon cutting for the Campbell Street Apartments, that $18 million affordable housing development in Southwest Detroit's East Chadsey-Condon neighborhood. Sean, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
From the WDET Newsroom, Washtenaw Community College alumna Aisha Bowie was one of the 6 women to blast into space on Monday's Blue Origin's New Shepard flight. A group of students at the college gathered to watch the launch from West Texas. WCC President Rose Belleci, says she's proud of Bowie and another graduate, Nathan Perry, an engineer who worked on the mission. And Aisha Bowie founded 2 tech companies after several years working for NASA. Kind of cool. And in local politics, former state lawmaker Adam Ollier says he's running for Congress again, challenging incumbent Sharit Tanadar in next year's Democratic primary election. Ollier filed to run against Tanadar last year and had many big-name supporters, but he failed to file enough valid petition signatures to get on the ballot. He also ran in 2022, but finished behind Tanadar in a crowded primary race. And coming up, we've been discussing diversity, equity, and inclusion programs with people who've helped start them at the University of Michigan. Those conversations have been happening because U of M has gotten rid of its DEI programming due to threats of funding cuts from the federal government. The White House wants to get rid of DEI, but doesn't seem to want to improve it. Up next, we'll hear from someone who is a critic of DEI, but who wants to improve it for people in that workplace and at universities. We'll be right back on the Metro. Stay right there with us.